Welcome back to the channel, everyone. So I wanted to shoot this video today and just do a little discussion on ferreting dogs. And we're in September now, so I know a lot of people are starting to get itchy feet. If you're like me, you want to start getting out and getting back on the rabbits again. You know, I've seen a few people have already been out and getting some good bags, which has sort of fired me up for it now. I am out on Saturday, this Saturday coming, on a new place, so I should have a video for you then. But over the course of my channel, over the last couple of years, I get quite a few comments from people on the ferreting videos about the dogs. You've seen 3 or 4 different dogs out on my videos from my Whippet in the early days of the channel. She's sadly gone now. To one of my friend's dogs, Jake, who again is sadly gone now, and Sam, the little white dog, and of course Bryn. Nowadays it's mainly Sam and Bryn, you see. But yeah, I just wanted to go through some of the stuff that I think makes a good ferreting dog. I do get a lot of questions, and I get a lot of questions, especially about Bryn, from people who have, you know, been around dogs a lot. Bryn isn't your like classic ferreting dog. He is he's mainly sighthound. Well, he's all sighthound. He's Saluki Whippet Greyhound, so he's more of like a long dog, a coursing dog, which really you don't really, not a lot of people would bother using. You know, they're not the cleverest dogs. Anything purely sighthound doesn't really have much of a brain, if I'm honest. They see stuff and they run it, and that's what they've been bred to do. So traditionally speaking, your ferreting dogs would be, you know, collie greys, collie whippets, beddy greys, beddy whippets, and all sorts of crosses in between. You know, people like a little more brain and more nose bred into a dog, as well as speed for ferreting. But yeah, anyway, I get a few questions and you know, a lot to do with the dogs, and I get some people who are new to it who ask advice and whatnot. So I just thought today we'd go through what to expect from a ferreting dog, what you should expect from a ferreting dog. And really there are some things that you can train a dog to do, and there are other things that dogs will do on instinct or with experience. So we'll kick off with one of the most important things for a ferreting dog, for me anyway. And I'm sure lots of you will agree with this, but the most important thing for me, if you take the catching of the rabbits out of the equation, so forget the dog catching the rabbits. For me, the most important thing is a dog that marks, and reliably marks. And this really is one of those things that you can't really train into a dog. And I see people make quite a common mistake, and especially people who are new to ferreting into dogs. So what they'll do, they'll have a young dog and they'll start it off on warrens, and I've seen it many times. And what they'll do is they'll sort of click their fingers and say, hey, point at the hole, what's this to the dog, to try and encourage that dog to mark. And it's basically not right. It's not correct. If you do that, what you're doing is you're encouraging behaviour from a dog. You're encouraging that dog to show interest in a warren. And because dogs want to please us, you know, if you encourage your dog to mark and say, what's this, and they do it, and then you say, oh, good boy, good girl, that's not marking the warren. It's just doing what you want it to do because it knows it's going to get praise off you. So if you do that and you continue to do that, and then that dog realizes that it's getting like a reward from that certain behavior, it will keep doing it. And what you'll find, the problem you'll find with that is that when you do come to ferret and the dog will do that and it'll mark, and, you know, you'll pat the dog and good boy, good girl, you know, you'll net up that warren, and there is the strong possibility that there could be nothing in it because your dog hasn't really marked. It's just done a behaviour that it knows it gets praise for. So a dog will mark with experience, and really in your dog's first season you shouldn't really be expecting a whole lot from it. Let that come, get it around warrens. Once it's seen a few rabbits and it's got that scent, it will naturally mark. And then you have to watch your dog and see how it marks, because every dog will mark slightly differently. You'll never get two dogs that are the same. So some dogs will mark very heavily and it's very obvious. They'll be sort of halfway down the hole. And or some dogs really just snort into the hole, or some dogs will just stand it's very subtle how some dogs mark. Some dogs will have a little sniff and then they'll just stand and, wait. So you've really got to learn your dog and learn how it marks. But marking will come in time. And I think, in my mind, encouraging it to do so is just, you're going backwards. But, let me know if you think that's right or not. That's just from my personal experience. So, it's very important to have a dog that marks. A dog that doesn't mark, is just a dog you take out ferreting. It's not a ferreting dog. It's not really doing the job. And for me, a dog that marks I would rather have a dog that marks reliably than a dog that catches reliably, because we can set nets to catch the rabbits. There's not many open warrens here. And another important thing is stock breaking and breaking the dogs to the ferrets. So this is one of those aspects that can be trained. Like I say, marking is probably one of the only things that can't really be trained into your dog. The rest can be. So stock breaking is really important. What you'll find is most ground with rabbits on it, apart from if it's arable, but almost most ground that holds the numbers of rabbits will be sheep grazing and horse grazing or cattle grazing, stuff like that, where there's good grass. So it's really important when you have your dog from a pup is to socialise and get it used to livestock, from sheep to horses to chickens to cows, and of course your ferrets. Ferrets is the easy one. You can do that at home. I know lots of people who will, when their dogs are a pup, they'll put a dish of food down and they'll feed the ferrets and the pup together. And that really just gets that social aspect going and breaks the dog and also the ferret to each other. The last thing you want on a day's ferreting is a dog to try and bite your ferret or vice versa. As for the rest, again, that's just trainable. It's trainable. It's repetitive training. So you could take your dog out, a young dog out, pup out on a long line around sheep, around horses. And, it's so easy to do when they're young. It's harder and harder if you take an older dog on and it's not stock broken. It is a hard job to get them started. It can be done. But, you really want to nip that in the bud early when it's a pup and get them accustomed to being around stock. Because like I say, if you're ferreting and it's around livestock, a dog that's not stock broken, it just can't be trusted, and then that dog's not going to be an asset to you. Also, you want to train that dog to quite a high degree. Not really to such a degree like you would see with a working collie where it lies down on command, or, you can give it commands half a mile away, but you want a real biddable, nice, quiet dog that, when you're out ferreting, you've got enough gear to carry, without having to have a dog on a lead all the time. You want to know you can cast that dog off and it's biddable, it's got a great recall, and it's not going to wander off and do any mischief that you don't want it to. So, basic training, the easy basic training, as you would with any other dog, even a pet dog, but with a lurcher, its recall has to be absolutely spot on. Also retrieving, now that's another easy one you can do as a pup, chuck a cuddly toy or a ball and, you gradually build up till you get a ball or a cuddly toy or a dummy wrapped in a rabbit skin or something. You know, all that should be done when they're a puppy, you know, so from 8 weeks up to, you know, a year old until you're working. It's constant training, it's constant learning for that pup. But yeah, so the rest really, like ferreting wise, comes with experience. So once you enter that dog to ferreting, it will get better and better the more experienced it gets. And I think a lot of people, this is where a lot of people fail, because they watch videos online of these fantastic ferreting dogs and, you know, catching and marking, and it, you know, that comes with a lot of work, and, you know, the people behind that have put the time into their dogs. But also when people see good dogs online, they think that, you know, it's almost like they think they can buy a good dog. Well, you know, you make a good dog, and experience is one of those things that makes a good ferreting dog. Especially things like, you know, a young dog will be a little bit unsteady on a warren, you know, they'll be a little bit all over the place, and that comes with time as well. That steadiness you see in the videos of a dog standing dead still on a warren and listening. You know, ferreting really does train a dog's senses in, because it's got to use its nose, it's got to listen. It will learn to be in the right place at the right time, and you will notice as your dog's career develops, an older dog will, you know, even if it lacks in a little bit of speed, you know, as a dog gets older and it starts to lose that speed, it doesn't necessarily need that, because you'll find it will be at the right place at the right time on the warrens. And I'm actually going to show you some clips of the dogs that we take out, past and present, and you'll see the what I'm talking about in the steadiness, the concentration, using their ears, using their nose, you know, using their brain to do the job as effectively as they possibly can, and putting rabbits in the bag. And that's what it's about. But as you'll see from the footage, you know, the dogs are all different crosses, you know, from my pure whippet to Bryn, who's, you know, all sight hound, to Sam, who is, well, he's a 3/4 whippet, 1/4 collie. My friend's dog Jake, who is actually a bit of everything. He's got a bit of collie, a bit of bull, you know, but with that training comes the results. So yeah, I'm gonna put the clips up and do a little voiceover on them so you know what's happening. If you are new to dog work, drop some comments in the comments section and ask any questions. If you're an old hand at it, tell me something else that you like to do with your dogs or train into your dogs, and you know, that helps any newbies out as well. You know, we should all be helping each other out now. So yeah, I'll put a few clips up and then I'll explain. Here's Jake out on an open warren. As you'll see, he's listening very carefully. He's about to dive for a rabbit in a moment. You can see good patience. There he goes, he dives for that. But watch what happens now as he pulls this one out. Another one bolts. He drops the first, but he has a good run on this second. Makes a good catch and retrieves it back. As you can see, he did drop that first one, but he got distracted by the second one bolting, and he wanted to have both of them. But they're not robots, so we forgive him that. Bryn on Warren here. He's just about to pull a rabbit out, and it's got the ferret still attached to the other end, so it just shows the relationship there. So this is Bryn and Sam on a warren, and as you can see, they're marking this spot quite well. And this is a bit of a longer clip, but this is to really show the patience of the dogs here, because they can hear what's going on underground, and you can see them moving backward and forward from these two holes. And you can really see the patience here, because they know what's happening underground. They know this rabbit's going to come out. And you can see, well, you can't see Bryn, he's just behind Sam. But yeah, it just shows the patience. As you can see, Bryn is moving up, because he's used to, if the rabbit bolts into the open field as well, a lot of the time, that's where he likes to be. So, you know, your dog will work out how they work on a warren from experience. And as you're going to see in a minute, Sam does have this rabbit as it comes out of the hole. And there he's got it now. Patience pays off. This is Bryn on a nice open warren. And this just shows the determination of a dog on a run. He takes a fall here, but he manages to right himself and get back onto the rabbit and make a quick catch. My Whippet Jet out bolting some rabbits into a long net. And you notice how she jumps the net once the rabbit's in it. She doesn't knock that over and she's straight onto that rabbit in the net. It actually got out and ran back in. But there she's holding that until I get to it. A little bit keen there, but she done the job we wanted her to. There you go. Not trying to mess with the rabbit too much. That's what you want. Straight back onto the warren. Here's a clip that shows the pressure that an experienced dog will put on a rabbit when it bolts. Both the dogs are in the hedge and pressure that rabbit into open ground where they can make an easier catch. And there you go. Here we can see Bryn on a warren, and this is just right place, right time again, using his ears. He knows where the rabbit's coming from, and he manages to catch it just before it hits the long net. There you go. It gets five paces before he's caught it. And there it is, the rabbit undamaged. As you can see, the ferret coming out, and the dog's ignoring that, as it should be. Here's Sam, and as you can see, he's listening intently to this hole. He can hear what's going on underground, and this is the mark of an experienced dog. He knows exactly where this rabbit's coming from. As you'll see, he'll move in a moment and make a very quick catch. And there he has it. Didn't even have a chance to break from the hole. That's experience. Here's Bryn again, and this just highlights the dangers of ferreting for a dog. If you watch, he'll hit this tree on the left in a minute when this rabbit bolts, but he still manages to catch it. That's the grit and determination of an experienced ferreting dog. Accidents do happen in the field though, as I've had personal experience with. No matter what you see online, not everything goes to plan, and as you'll see here, even we made the mistake of putting the ferret box too close, and it cost us this rabbit. A rookie mistake by us. But these things happen, and you win some, you lose some, as they say, and we lose this one. And in mere seconds of that hitting the box, that's just enough time for that rabbit to get away. In this clip, you can see Bryn showing some good patience here. He can hear what's going on underground, and the hole that he stood next to, the rabbit does show. As you can see, he's listening here. He does start to get a little bit twitchy as he can hear what's unfolding underground. But this rabbit does bolt further on into the long net. But what the clip doesn't show is the rabbit actually knocks the long net over. The poles aren't very secure here. And if it wasn't for the dog, we'd have lost the rabbit as he catches it just further out from the long net. But this just goes to show patience in the dog. And you'll see the rabbit bolt now. And there he goes. Here's Sam making another easy catch. You notice how still and patient he is. And there he goes. He lets the rabbit go initially, but he does manage to grab it again. But you notice the dogs in these clips aren't all over the place. They're standing very still and listening, and that's how they catch rabbits. He knew this one was coming. A very quick catch. Both dogs here can hear this rabbit under this little pile of brush. As you can see, both stood very patiently. And watch Sam now. There we have it, he's caught that. Patience is key. So I hope you saw from those clips, you know, the experienced dogs on the warren, and that really just did show you like the patience that the dogs do get over time. And as you could see, because the dogs were listening and using their noses, they knew exactly where those rabbits were going to be. And you can see an experienced dog putting the pressure on those rabbits. So everything we spoke about, the steadiness, the using the nose, the listening, you know, it all comes with time. But that training early on in, you know, making your dog biddable, you can see that all the dogs in the clips are pretty biddable. They, you know, they're not all over the warren. They're standing very still, they're listening. And, you know, with that training and then the time added onto that, all that will come. And then you'll end up with a dog that puts rabbits in the bag. And as you saw from the clips, a lot of the time we do have long nets set around, but the dogs catch a lot of the rabbits either before they bolt from the hole, or they catch them before they get to the long net. And that's really what you want. I mean, to be honest, whether the rabbits are caught by the dogs or the nets, you know, it doesn't so much matter to us as long as the rabbits are in the bag. But it is nice that the dogs do still get a few catches, and that just shows an experienced dog. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video, everyone. And if you're like me, you're absolutely itching to get out. I really hope you guys have a great season. And I wish you luck with your dogs, new or old. And I hope you're enjoying the channel, and stay with us because I'm going to bring you plenty of footage, plenty of days out, starting from this weekend. I'm hoping to get a good bit of footage filmed for you guys. So yeah, thanks for watching. Drop the video a like because that helps bump us up. Drop me a comment. I love reading your comments and replying and stuff like that. It's nice to engage with everyone. So yeah, until the next video, guys, take care and thanks again.